The large meeting room aboard the alien flagship gleamed with strange metals and glowing surfaces that no human had ever seen before. Commander Ethan Cole straightened his uniform as he entered, trying to look confident despite the racing of his heart. Beside him, Dr. Lisa Warren clutched her data tablet tightly, her knuckles white with tension. "Remember," Ethan whispered, "we represent all of Earth today." Lisa nodded. No pressure, right? They were led to a circular table where 12 different alien species sat watching them. Some had too many eyes, others too many limbs. One seemed to float above its chair like purple mist, but all shared the same expression that humans would recognize anywhere in the universe: smug superiority. High Chancellor Zortak of the Veldorian Empire sat at the head of the table. His blue skin stretched over a face that reminded Ethan of a hairless cat, with large yellow eyes that blinked sideways. "The representatives from Earth may now present their technological achievements," Zortak announced, his voice translated through small devices in the human's ears. Lisa stepped forward and activated her presentation. "Thank you for welcoming Earth to this gathering of galactic species. We are proud to share our recent breakthrough in faster-than-light travel experiments." The holographic display showed Earth's first warp drive prototype. Lisa explained the principles behind it with passion in her voice. She had spent 15 years working on this project, and Earth had celebrated when the test ship broke the light barrier last month. But as she spoke, several aliens began making strange sounds. Ethan realized with growing anger that they were laughing. "Is something funny?" he asked, struggling to keep his voice level. A thin alien with gray skin and enormous black eyes spoke up. "We find it amusing that you present this as an achievement. My species mastered true space folding 10,000 years ago. Your warp drive is like watching a baby take its first steps." "A particularly clumsy baby," added another alien with scales and 4 arms. Zortak raised a hand. "Please excuse my colleagues. We sometimes forget how special it is to witness a young species at this stage." His politeness somehow felt more insulting than the open mockery. Lisa tried to continue her presentation, moving to Earth's advancements in quantum computing, but was interrupted again. "Your understanding of physics is fundamentally flawed," said a floating orb of light near the back of the room. "You're working with only 4 dimensions when the universe offers 11 for technological exploitation. Frankly, it's like watching someone try to build a skyscraper out of mud." More laughter rippled around the table. Ethan stepped forward. "We may be behind your civilizations, but humanity learns quickly. We seek peaceful exchange of knowledge and—" "Oh, that won't be necessary," Zortak interrupted. "The Galactic Conclave has reached a decision regarding Earth. We are offering you protected species status." "Protected species?" Lisa asked. A hologram appeared in the center of the table, showing legal text that scrolled too quickly to read. "It means we will shield your planet from outside threats," explained Zortak. "In exchange, you will seize all faster-than-light experiments and accept technological limitations appropriate for your developmental stage." Ethan felt his face grow hot. "You're talking about turning Earth into a wildlife preserve." "A nature reserve for primitives would be more accurate," muttered one of the aliens, triggering more laughter. "We refuse," Ethan said firmly. "Earth has the right to develop on its own terms. We came here as equals, not as subjects." The laughter stopped. Zortak's yellow eyes narrowed. "You misunderstand, Commander Cole. This is not a negotiation. The Conclave has already voted. Earth's technology has reached the point where you might damage yourselves or others. We are containing a potential problem. And if we resist?" Lisa asked. Zortak waved a hand, and the hologram changed to show the vast alien fleet currently orbiting Earth. Thousands of ships, each more advanced than anything humans had ever built. "Resistance would be unfortunate," Zortak said smoothly, "and brief. You have 30 Earth days to dismantle your advanced research facilities and accept our terms." As Ethan opened his mouth to protest, the aliens rose from their seats, clearly considering the meeting over. The message was clear. Earth didn't matter enough to even finish the conversation. As they were escorted back to their shuttle, Ethan whispered to Lisa, "They're going to regret laughing at us." Lisa nodded grimly. They have no idea what humans do when backed into a corner. The United Nations Security Council chamber was unusually quiet as Commander Cole finished his report. 20 world leaders sat in stunned silence, processing the alien ultimatum. Outside, news networks around the globe showed the alien ships visible in the daytime sky, a constant reminder of humanity's vulnerability. 30 days, said the Secretary General, breaking the silence. They give us 30 days to surrender our independence. President Sophia Martinez of the United States stood up. Then we have 29 days to find a solution. I refuse to believe that humanity will become a zoo exhibit for advanced species to gawk at. With respect, Madam President, said the British Prime Minister, their technology is centuries beyond ours. Did you see the footage of their fleet? We have no defense against such power. A deep voice spoke from the doorway. Perhaps we do. All heads turned to see Admiral Frank Morris enter the chamber. The aging military officer carried a metal briefcase handcuffed to his wrist. Admiral Morris wasn't scheduled to speak today, whispered an aide. Neither were alien invasions on my calendar, President Martinez replied. Let him speak. Admiral Morris placed the briefcase on the table. What I'm about to share has been classified beyond top secret for 27 years. He entered a code, pressed his thumb against a scanner, and opened the case. Inside was a single data drive. Minutes later, the room's screens displayed schematics and equations that made little sense to most present. This is Project Tesseract, explained the Admiral. While the world focused on traditional space travel, a small team has been exploring alternative methods of interstellar travel, not by moving through space, but by manipulating dimensions themselves. He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing a massive underground facility built inside a mountain. Below the Rocky Mountains lies humanity's greatest secret, a ship designed to access not just the 4 dimensions we know, length, width, height, and time, but 7 dimensions total. Commander Cole stood up. 7 dimensions. The aliens mentioned 11 dimensions exist, but said we only work with 4. Admiral Morris smiled. Exactly. They have no idea this project exists. For nearly 3 decades, Dr. Olivia Grant has led this research outside normal scientific channels. The screen changed to show a woman in her 60s with silver hair and intense eyes, working in a lab filled with strange equipment. Dr. Grant theorized that accessing higher dimensions would allow instant travel anywhere in the universe, and potentially much more. Her theories were considered too radical by mainstream science, so various governments secretly funded her work. President Martinez leaned forward. And what's the status of this project, Admiral? The ship, named the EA's Defiance, is 96% complete. Dr. Grant believes it could be operational within 2 months under normal circumstances. We have 30 days, Commander Cole reminded him. Admiral Morris nodded grimly. That's why I'm here. Dr. Grant needs more resources to accelerate the timeline, and clearance to test an unproven technology that could either save humanity or destroy half a continent if it fails. The room erupted in debate until President Martinez raised her hand for silence. What are our chances of success? The Admiral's face remained stoic. Dr. Grant estimates a 22% chance of complete success, 45% chance of partial success with significant damage to the facility, and 33% chance of catastrophic failure. Those aren't good odds, said the Chinese representative. Better odds than surrender, Commander Cole countered. President Martinez stood. I want to see this facility myself. If there's even a small chance this works, we owe it to humanity to try. The next day, a small group of world leaders descended in a high-security elevator nearly a mile beneath the Earth's surface. As the doors opened, they gasped collectively. Before them, in an enormous cavern, stood a ship unlike anything they had imagined. Its surface seemed to shift and change as they watched, as if parts of it existed in places their eyes couldn't quite focus on. Dr. Olivia Grant greeted them with a firm handshake. "Welcome to humanity's last hope. The aliens think we're playing with building blocks, but we've been studying the fabric of reality itself." She gestured toward her chief engineer, a muscular man checking systems on a tablet. "Jack Nelson, and I believe we can have the Defiance ready in 20 days, if you give us everything we need." "Whatever it takes," President Martinez said. The galaxy laughed at us. Let's show them why that was a mistake. The underground facility buzzed with activity day and night. Scientists and engineers worked in shifts, catching short naps on cots set up in corners. Food came on trays and coffee flowed endlessly as the countdown clock on the wall ticked away humanity's remaining time. 18 days left. Dr. Olivia Grant hadn't slept more than 3 hours at a stretch since the world leader's visit. She stood at the main control panel, her silver hair pulled back in a messy ponytail as she studied the energy readings. "The dimensional core is still unstable," she muttered to herself. "We're missing something." Jack Nelson approached, carrying 2 steaming cups. "Thought you could use this," he said, offering her coffee. At 42, Jack had been with the project for 15 years, his engineering brilliance matched only by his steady nerves. "Thanks," she said, taking a sip. "But coffee won't solve our problem. The energy required to access the higher dimensions keeps fluctuating. If we can't stabilize it, the ship will tear itself apart the moment we activate the drive." Jack leaned against the console. "What if instability is part of the process?" Dr. Grant raised an eyebrow. "Go on. We've been trying to force the dimensional energies into stable patterns based on our understanding of 4-dimensional physics. But what if higher dimensions naturally resist that kind of order? What if we need to create a controlled chaos instead?" Their discussion was interrupted by an alarm. On the large screens overhead, satellite imagery showed 5 new alien ships entering Earth orbit. Commander Cole rushed in, his face grim. "The Conclave is getting impatient. They've started positioning weapons platforms around the planet." Dr. Grant checked the countdown clock. "We need more time." "We don't have it," Cole replied. "Intelligence suggests they might move before their own deadline if they detect unusual activity." President Martinez arrived an hour later for her daily briefing. When she heard about the weapons platforms, she made a difficult decision. "We launch in 3 days, ready or not." "Madam President," Dr. Grant protested, "the ship isn't ready. We haven't solved the core stability issue." "Then solve it in 3 days," Martinez said firmly. "Because in 4 days, we might not have a choice anymore." That night, as most of the team finally rested, Jack Nelson stayed in the engineering bay, staring at the dimensional core, a crystalline structure that pulsed with strange energies. Something about Dr. Grant's earlier equations kept bothering him. When Dr. Grant found him the next morning, he was surrounded by crumpled papers covered in calculations. "Olivia," he said excitedly, using her first name in his enthusiasm, "I think I know why the core keeps destabilizing. We're trying to control it from the outside, but the shift between dimensions requires internal adjustment during the actual transition." "That's impossible," she replied. "No system could make those adjustments fast enough during a dimensional shift." Jack looked at her seriously. "A computer couldn't, but a human could." Realization dawned on her face. "You're talking about manually rewiring the core during activation. That's suicide, Jack. The energies involved would probably kill whoever did it," he finished. "But it might save everyone else." 2 days later, the Defiance was as ready as it could be. A crew of 12 volunteers had been selected, scientists and pilots willing to risk everything. Captain Daniel Wright, a former test pilot with nerves of steel, would command the mission. As the final hour approached, Jack Nelson quietly suited up in protective gear. Dr. Grant found him checking the manual override tools. "I can't let you do this," she said softly. "Someone has to," he replied. "And I understand the core better than anyone except you. The world needs you here, directing the mission. Tears formed in her eyes. There must be another way. Maybe next time, he said with a sad smile. But right now, we're out of options. As the final countdown began, Jack positioned himself in the maintenance shaft closest to the dimensional core. Through his communicator, he heard Captain Wright's voice from the bridge ordering all systems ready. Dr. Grant's voice came through his private channel. Jack, the moment the core destabilizes, you'll have approximately 12 seconds to complete the reconfiguration before the energies become lethal. I'll only need 10, he replied confidently, though his hands trembled slightly as he prepared his tools. From orbit, the alien ships detected a massive energy surge from Earth's surface. As they focused their sensors on the Rocky Mountains, brilliant auroras of impossible colors spread across the sky. The Defiance was awakening, and somewhere inside it, Jack Nelson reached into the heart of dimensional chaos, determined to give humanity its chance to fight back. A blinding flash enveloped the Defiance as the dimensional core activated. On the bridge, Captain Daniel Wright and his crew shielded their eyes. For a terrifying moment, everything seemed to stretch and compress at once. Then, suddenly, silence. Status report. Wright called out, blinking away the spots in his vision. Lieutenant Amy Fulton checked her console. Sir, all systems are. Wait, that can't be right. What is it? Wright demanded. According to our sensors, we're nowhere. Her voice trembled slightly. We don't register in normal spacetime anymore. Through the viewports, the crew saw something impossible. Instead of the rocky walls of the underground facility, they saw everything. Streams of light and energy flowed in patterns that hurt to look at directly. Stars appeared as complex geometric shapes rather than points of light. And in the distance, if distance was even the right word, they could see what looked like the entire Milky Way galaxy compressed into a strange spiral pattern. The 7D drive worked, whispered Wright. We're seeing reality from higher dimensions. In the engineering section, a miracle had happened. Jack Nelson was alive, though barely conscious. The protective suit he wore was blackened and smoking, but he had completed the core adjustments in 9 seconds, just before the energies would have killed him. Dr. Samantha Rivera, the ship's medical officer and neural specialist, rushed to check on the crew. Everyone, put on your neural interfaces immediately, she ordered. Your human brains can't process what you're seeing without them. The neural interfaces, sleek headbands with small contact points at the temples, had been designed precisely for this moment. As the crew put them on, the impossible view outside shifted into something their minds could understand. Much better, Wright said, adjusting his interface. Now let's see what this ship can do. Over the next few hours, they experimented with the ship's capabilities. Lieutenant Fulton discovered that in 7D space, conventional concepts of distance didn't apply. The ship could instantly appear anywhere they could visualize. It's not like traditional travel at all, she explained to the captain. We don't move through space. We simply exist in a different location whenever we want. Wright nodded. Can we observe normal space without being detected? According to these readings, yes, said Officer Ben Garcia from the science station. We're completely invisible to conventional sensors. It's like we're ghosts, watching the physical universe from outside it. Wright smiled. Then it's time to gather intelligence. Let's see what our alien friends are up to. Over the next 12 hours, the Defiance jumped throughout the galaxy, visiting conclave worlds and military installations. At each location, they remained undetectable while their advanced sensors recorded everything. They witnessed massive shipyards orbiting red giant stars, weapons platforms that could destroy entire planets, and bustling alien cities that sprawled across continents. But most importantly, they discovered the truth about the Veldorian Empire. Captain, you need to see this, Officer Garcia called out during their visit to the Veldorian homeworld. He had hacked into their central data network, a feat made possible by their unique dimensional position. On the screen appeared countless records of the Veldorians systematically holding back other species' technological development. They would identify promising civilizations, force them into protected status, then secretly steal their innovations while keeping them isolated. They've been doing this for thousands of years, Garcia said in disgust. The Veldorians aren't even the most advanced species in the conclave. They just use political manipulation to stay in power while stealing everyone else's ideas. Wright studied the data grimly. And now, they want to do the same to Earth. In the medical bay, Jack Nelson finally regained consciousness. Dr. Rivera explained what had happened, how his actions had saved the mission and revealed capabilities beyond what anyone had imagined. So it worked? Jack asked weakly. More than worked, Dr. Rivera replied. You've helped create the most powerful ship in the galaxy. On the bridge, Captain Wright made a decision. We've seen enough. It's time to return to Earth and share what we've learned. Lieutenant Fulton nodded. Calculating return coordinates now, sir. And prepare a little demonstration for our conclave friends, Wright added with a determined smile. I think it's time to show them what humanity can really do. As the Defiance prepared to reveal itself, the crew felt a mixture of pride and anticipation. The galaxy had laughed at humanity, but not for much longer. 2 weeks after disappearing from Earth, the Defiance slipped back into normal space inside the underground facility. Scientists cheered and hugged each other as the impossible ship reappeared. Dr. Grant rushed forward as the crew disembarked, her eyes searching for Jack Nelson. When she saw him being helped down the ramp by Dr. Rivera, she couldn't hold back her tears. You crazy, brilliant man, she whispered, embracing him carefully to avoid his injuries. You should see the other guy, Jack joked weakly. In the command center, Captain Wright briefed President Martinez and military leaders on their discoveries. The room fell silent as they watched recordings of the Conclave's massive military installations and the secret Veldorian archives. These aliens have been playing this game for thousands of years, Wright explained. They identify promising species, declare them protected, then steal their innovations while keeping them isolated and weak. 3 days remain until their deadline. Commander Cole reminded everyone. They've positioned more weapons platforms around Earth. The Veldorian flagship has entered orbit, and High Chancellor Zortak is demanding our answer. President Martinez studied the data with narrowed eyes. Then let's give them an answer they won't expect. Commander Cole, request a final meeting aboard their flagship. Cole looked surprised. You want me to go back there? Yes, Martinez confirmed. Stall them. Make them think we're negotiating surrender terms. Meanwhile, Captain Wright and the Defiance will prepare a little demonstration. The next day, Commander Cole's shuttle docked with the Veldorian flagship. He was escorted to the same meeting room where Earth had been mocked weeks earlier. The same alien representatives sat around the table, looking even more smug than before. Commander Cole, High Chancellor Zortak greeted him with a thin smile. I trust you bring Earth's acceptance of our generous offer. Cole kept his face neutral. Earth wishes to discuss the terms of our new relationship with the Conclave. There is little to discuss, said the purple mist alien. You will dismantle your advanced research facilities, accept our technological limitations, and receive our protection. And what exactly are we being protected from? Cole asked, stalling for time. Through his concealed earpiece, he could hear the Defiance crew counting down. Zortak spread his hands. The universe is dangerous for primitive species. Your minds cannot comprehend the threats that exist. Perhaps you underestimate human minds, Cole replied. The alien with scales laughed. Your species still thinks in 4 dimensions. You are children playing with fire. Cole checked his watch. Speaking of dimensions, I'm curious about something. The Conclave uses ships that access, what, 5 dimensions? 6, corrected Zortak proudly. The most advanced in the galaxy. Interesting, Cole said with a small smile. What would you say about a ship that could access 7? Before Zortak could respond, the lights throughout the flagship flickered. Alarms began to sound as consoles sparked and went dark. "What is happening?" Zor-Tak demanded, rising from his seat. An aide rushed in. "High Chancellor, all systems are failing. Something is creating dimensional interference that our technology cannot handle." Outside the viewport, a strange distortion appeared in space. The Defiance materialized, but not as a solid object. It shimmered between dimensions, its shape constantly shifting in ways that hurt to look at. Energy patterns flowed across its surface in impossible colors. "That's impossible," whispered the gray alien with large eyes. "No species has ever mastered 7th-dimensional technology." "Until now," Commander Cole said calmly. The Veldorian flagship drifted powerless in space, along with every other ship in the Conclave fleet. Nothing critical was damaged. Life support and gravity still functioned, but weapons, engines, and communications were disabled. The ship's view screens activated on their own, showing Dr. Olivia Grant's face. "Greetings, High Chancellor," she said. "I hope you're enjoying our little demonstration. What you're experiencing is a carefully calibrated dimensional field that temporarily disrupts your technology without causing permanent damage. We could have been far less gentle." Zor-Tak's face darkened with rage. "This is an act of war." "No," Dr. Grant corrected him. "This is an invitation to fair negotiation. The terms have changed. Earth will not be your zoo exhibit or your technology farm. We will join the Conclave as equals, or we will remain independent." She smiled. "By the way, your ships will regain power in about an hour. Just enough time for you to consider your response carefully." As the screen went dark, Commander Cole stood up. "I believe my shuttle still works. I'll leave you to your deliberations." 3 days after the demonstration, representatives from across the Galactic Conclave gathered in a large neutral space station. This time, Earth wasn't represented by just 2 people. President Martinez herself led the delegation, with Commander Cole, Dr. Grant, Captain Wright, and the still recovering Jack Nelson standing proudly beside her. On the other side of the massive oval table sat High Chancellor Zor-Tak and representatives from 27 different species. The mockery in their eyes was gone, replaced by caution, and in some cases, respect. "This emergency session of the Conclave will now begin," announced an elderly alien with crystalline skin who served as the neutral mediator. "Earth has requested full membership in the Galactic Conclave with all associated rights and privileges. High Chancellor Zor-Tak objects to this request. Both sides will present their positions." President Martinez stood. Unlike the previous meeting, her image was projected as a giant hologram visible to all. Earth was making sure its voice would be heard. "The people of Earth come in peace," she began. "We seek knowledge, friendship, and fair exchange with all species. However, we will not accept being treated as inferiors or having our development controlled by others." She gestured to Dr. Grant, who activated a holographic display showing the Defiance's capabilities, carefully edited to hide its true limits and weaknesses. "As we have demonstrated, humanity has mastered technology that accesses 7 dimensions. We wish to share knowledge with the Conclave while maintaining our independence and dignity. We ask only for what is fair." When she finished, Zor-Tak rose to speak. "The Conclave has protocols that have maintained peace for 50,000 years. Earth is dangerously unpredictable. Their sudden technological leap suggests an unstable species that could threaten galactic stability." A ripple of murmurs passed through the gathering. Several older species, ones with wrinkled skin or ancient eyes, exchanged meaningful glances. "How exactly did Earth achieve this breakthrough?" asked a small alien with 6 eyes. "Such advancement normally takes thousands of years." "Through human ingenuity and determination," Dr. Grant answered proudly. "When faced with a challenge, humans have a unique ability to think beyond conventional limits." Or perhaps, Zor-Tak interrupted, "they simply got lucky with dangerous experiments. This could be a fluke, a trick to appear more advanced than they are." Captain Wright stepped forward. "If you question our capabilities, we can provide another demonstration." Before anyone could respond, the Defiance, which had been invisible in 7D space, began appearing and disappearing around the space station. It blinked into existence near one viewing port, then instantly appeared at another, moving faster than any tracking system could follow. The aliens gasped as the ship performed the impossible, its movements defying every known law of physics they understood. "I believe that settles the question of capability," Commander Cole said with quiet confidence. As the demonstration continued, Officer Garcia aboard the Defiance executed the second part of Earth's plan. Using their unique dimensional position, they accessed the Veldorian flagship's secure databases. Within minutes, they had downloaded evidence of the Veldorians' systematic suppression of developing species. President Martinez nodded to Dr. Grant, who activated a new holographic display. It showed thousands of records of the Veldorians, forcing other species into protected status, then secretly stealing their innovations. "The Veldorian Empire has manipulated the Conclave for its own benefit," Martinez announced. "They have violated the very principles of exchange and cooperation this body claims to uphold." The chamber erupted in chaos as species turned to confront the Veldorians. Several powerful factions that had long been suspicious of Veldorian policies now had proof of their manipulation. Zortak's face darkened with fury. "This is an outrage. You have no right to access our private records. And you had no right to hold back countless species from their full potential," Commander Cole countered. The crystalline mediator called for order. "These are serious allegations that must be investigated. Until then, I propose that Earth's application for membership be considered separately from these charges." An ancient alien with flowing robes stood up. His species was one of the founding members of the Conclave. "I have observed many emerging species in my long life. Rarely have I seen one demonstrate both technological prowess and ethical concern as Earth has today. I support their petition for full membership." Others began to voice their support as well. The tide was turning. Earth would no longer be mocked or controlled. 6 months had passed since the historic confrontation at the Conclave meeting. Earth's skyline had changed dramatically. Alien architecture now stood alongside human buildings in major cities. Ships from dozens of species visited daily, bringing trade, knowledge, and cultural exchange. In Geneva, a massive new structure with crystalline towers served as Earth's Conclave embassy. Inside its grand central hall, Dr. Olivia Grant stood before a diverse audience of humans and aliens. "Today marks the official launch of the Galactic Science Initiative," she announced. "Earth will share select aspects of our dimensional technology with trusted species throughout the Conclave. Together, we will explore the frontiers of science in ways none of us could achieve alone." Among those listening was Jack Nelson, now fully recovered and wearing the silver medallion that marked him as one of the first humans to receive the Conclave's highest honor for scientific achievement. "Never thought I'd see the day when I'd be teaching aliens about engineering," he whispered to Dr. Grant as they left the podium. She smiled. "Never thought I'd see the day when they'd actually listen." Across the galaxy, the political landscape had shifted dramatically. The Veldorian Empire had been sanctioned and its leadership replaced after the evidence of their manipulation became public. Their former colonies were now independent members of the Conclave, many of them eager to work with Earth. In orbit above Earth, a shipyard constructed with both human and alien technology was producing a new generation of vessels. The original Defiance had been joined by 5 sister ships, each captained by pilots trained personally by Daniel Wright. From the bridge of the largest ship, now named the EA's Harmony, Captain Wright watched as his fleet prepared for its first official mission. "All ships report ready, Captain," said Lieutenant Fulton, now his first officer. "Set course for the Andromeda Galaxy," Wright ordered. "Let's see what's beyond our cosmic backyard." The 7D-capable fleet vanished in a shimmer of dimensional energy, traveling farther than any Conclave species had ever ventured. In the Conclave headquarters, President Martinez, now serving as Earth's first galactic ambassador, signed the final document establishing the Dimensional Advancement Treaty. The agreement ensured that no species would ever again be prevented from developing its potential. The treaty includes strict oversight provisions. Martinez explained to the assembled delegates. Knowledge must be shared responsibly, but it must be shared. The days of technological suppression are over. The ancient alien in flowing robes who had first supported Earth's membership nodded in approval. In my 5,000 years of life, I have seen many civilizations rise and fall. Those who hoard knowledge eventually stagnate. Those who share it flourish. Behind closed doors, not everything was perfect. Some species still distrusted humans and their rapid rise to power. Others worried about the implications of 7D technology spreading throughout the galaxy. Earth itself faced challenges adapting to its new position. But in Dr. Grant's private laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, where it had all begun, she and Jack worked quietly on something even more revolutionary: theoretical access to the 8th and 9th dimensions. "Do you think we should tell the Conclave about this research?" Jack asked, looking at their equations. Dr. Grant considered the question. "Eventually. But humanity needs time to mature into its current position first. Some knowledge requires wisdom to wield properly." Jack nodded. "Remember when they laughed at us for being primitive?" "That feels like a lifetime ago," she said with a smile. At the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy, Captain Wright and his crew became the first beings from the Milky Way to make contact with an entirely new galactic civilization. As representatives of both Earth and the Conclave, they approached with respect and openness. When asked where they came from, Captain Wright simply pointed to a distant spot of light barely visible in Andromeda's night sky. "We come from a small blue planet called Earth," he explained, "a place that not long ago the galaxy laughed at, until we showed them what humans can achieve when challenged." The new aliens did not laugh. They listened. And throughout the vastness of space, humanity continued to expand not as conquerors, but as explorers, inventors, and bridge builders between civilizations. The species that had once been mocked had become the ones who led the way forward.